Today I have with me uh, one of the PSYCH-K instructors, and her name is Mary Mazur. So would you like to share with us your experience about PSYCH-K and how did you came, or how did PSYCH-K find you?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Anna. So at the time that PSYCH-K found me, my husband actually got sick. He was diagnosed with leukemia, and it was a big wake-up call. He was 45 years old at the time, and he was good when he was diagnosed. He was kind of like matter of fact about it because I don't know, it didn't shock him, and I think it's because his dad died the month he turned 50 with complications of cancer, and then his oldest sister died the month she turned 50 from complications of cancer. So I think he figured he was going the same way. And so I thought, oh no, I have other plans. We have 4 kids, and we're going to see if you can stay a little longer. Hopefully, obviously, if he wanted to too. And yeah, so that's what led me. Within that year, I read Bruce Lipton's book, Biology of Belief, and I wanted to learn all I could about the self-healing mechanisms within our body. And it is a readiness that people do have to want to live. They do have to want to regain their health again and change and then identify what's happening, in that situation, and so they can rise above it and self-heal. So that's what led me to learn PSYCH-K. I went to the PSYCH-K basic workshop, and my husband was not interested in it at all. And that's what happens with people. They have to have their right timing. It took about 3 years until he was actually ready to really take responsibility for his own health and his life, and to make all the changes that his body so was kind of screaming at him to do. And PSYCH-K was a huge part with that. I mean, it really was. And he does work with his doctor, so it's important to honor each person, where they are and what works for each person. But for him, I don't know if he would still be here if it weren't for PSYCH-K, because he's thriving now and doing very well and healthy, which is really wonderful. So I'm very grateful. But it also helped me, because while he didn't want anything to do with it, that's when I started really working with myself a lot to get really good. So when he was ready, then we could really shoot out there. But and then I didn't even realize how much I needed it. I had no choice. Yeah. I was in denial, and people will do that, right? I'm like, no, I was just tough. I'll just figure things out how I can. And then at the time, I had more of a stress-related dis-ease or issues with my body, and it was just kind of annoying, frustrating things to work with. I had psoriasis, so I would have like all the crusty, flaky stuff all over my head that was itchy all over. I had like carpal tunnel issues and TMA because I used to grind my teeth a lot. A lot of really tight muscles in my neck, and I had varicose veins in my legs. It's just kind of more, and I actually used to wear glasses. My eyesight was even, affected a lot. I think my spirit didn't want to see certain things, and I lost my hearing in my right ear, and I had tinnitus, the loud tinnitus in my ear. And then with PSYCH-K, I did balances, and the tinnitus all resolved. It's like so quiet now. I'm like, oh my goodness. So. And the hearing is about 80% better. So there's still something that I guess my system still doesn't want to hear. So I'm still working with that with myself. I know, funny, but I don't wear glasses anymore. I used the PSYCH-K to find out, right, exactly. It was in my 20s when I started having to wear glasses where things were getting blurry. And I was working at the hospital. I was a nurse at the time, inner city OB. And I think I just saw a lot of things I didn't want to see. It was really quite profound. So I had to feel it's safe to be able to see clearly, what's needed. I know. And now my eyesight is, I know, amazingly sharp and effective and useful. And I'm 52 years old, and even reading, usually people say at 40 years old, you're going to have reading glasses. That's a belief. I can read clearly, close too. So pretty amazing. And then there are times where my eyes will get blurry. I mean, it doesn't mean you're never going to have blurriness. It just lets me know I'm stressed. When I am stressed, my eyes go blurry. Isn't that interesting? And so then I use PSYCH-K to help myself transform and return to my peace and relax. Yeah, and my eyesight will get clear again. So fascinating what the body, right, will do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the varicose veins was a huge one because I got surgery on my left leg. That was before I knew PSYCH-K. I did the surgery thing because that's what people do, right? So then with my right leg with the varicose veins bulging, I said, well, let me use PSYCH-K. And there's a health and well-being, workshop that you can go to with PSYCH-K, and I used the processes there. And I know I was amazed how much my legs just started feeling better, and my veins just started, self-healing themselves. I mean, that's amazing. Once you have, I was overwhelmed. My whole system felt overwhelmed, and that's why the veins became overwhelmed. Now, isn't that fascinating, huh? Yeah, so transforming that, yeah. And my wrists are comfortable now, my jaw is comfortable, my shoulders are comfortable because I'm more comfortable, I'm more relaxed within me. I have the peace within me. I used to be very stressed out and very running and going. I was a fighter, and I was in a lot of fear, and I didn't even know I was in fear because it was all I ever knew. I couldn't even compare it to anything. But now, with changing those limiting beliefs within me and recognizing all those, I guess I was frustrated and more angry, but it was actually fears that was really running a lot within me. And now I've been using PSYCH-K for 11 years now, and even teach it now to help other people. But I have such an inner peace within myself and really live in a lot of bliss that I could have never even imagined. I never had peace my whole life, actually, up until about a few years ago. And now to actually have that inner peace and bliss that my body muscles, I mean, it's so nice to have, just being flexible and flowing. Like I feel like I'm kind of like flowing when I walk now instead of hard and yeah. So I'm so grateful, and I know I plan to live a long time here and stay healthy and young, and grow my telomeres and go beyond what people could even imagine, what we thought, what the beliefs that we were told about that. Let's break those rules, and I plan to live about 150 years. I think that's a good number here. Healthy and young and vibrant. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm intending, and that's what my spirit's telling me too. So, I figure, hey.
Yeah. Have you had any experiences with anybody else like that? Any like client that you have worked with that had a condition or circumstance or situation that just you would like to share that was something extraordinary? Because I believe that's what happened.
Sure. Yeah, I had one. I mean, she taught me so much. It was amazing. She had a condition that she wasn't able to, if she got out of bed, she would faint. So she was bedridden for about 5 years. And she had 2 kids at home, and she was young, but and the doctors, it's a syndrome, I guess people will acquire, and the doctors can't even really help them because they don't really have a medication for it. They don't really understand it either. But it's hard if you get up and you pass out, then you can't really function. You can't go places or do things and stuff. And after actually about 5 years, she did hire a coach, a really beautiful coach that helped her for about 6 months. So at least it prepared her mentally for what she needed to really deal with. And then she found out about PSYCH-K and hired me, and we worked online. And while we worked, she actually was in bed lying down while we used the Zoom and the balance process that she would use, but she used them. And really within a week, I think she probably did two sessions or so, 2 or 3. And within a week, she was sitting up by her bedside table. And then within probably a couple of weeks after that, she was up going to her daughter's gymnastics again. And literally her whole life returned. And within about 6 months, she flew up to a workshop and actually came to a workshop and learned PSYCH-K for herself. Yeah. And she's such a beautiful spiritual being, but she had so many fears. It was so many fears that her body literally kept her in bed with that level of fears of things. And then she had all the wisdom within her. She reprogrammed her mind to know to live safely here and vibrantly and lovingly here. So it was magical beyond measure. So it wasn't the PSYCH-K that did it. It was her readiness and intention and willingness. It was just PSYCH-K offers, it's a precious gift. It offers that gateway for people. It helps people know they actually have the answers and the key within them. And then she was ready to access that and utilize it. And so we hold the space and just help guide people to help them find what it is that they're really truly seeking to live in a different way than they are now. And be in a new way for themselves. So, yeah, so that was That was very powerful. Yeah, beyond measure. Yeah, yeah.
Any other experiences? Anything?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I've had many. Oh my goodness. I had a woman like fourth stage cancer, right? That's a scary thing when people have fourth stage cancer, right? And they, so many fears and so many programs of what they, felt like they had to do here, and a huge turnaround. The woman's blossoming amazingly. And I understand some people do want to work with the medical profession. You can and do PSYCH-K and it still works beautiful. Or for her, I think she decided she didn't want to do anything with traditional, and she just worked with her own, just different healing processes that she was attracted to, and PSYCH-K was a huge part of that. So she's living abundantly. She lives at peace now. Her body was able to regain its health again. I mean, to me, that's huge. But each person's individualized. There have been other ones that actually have passed, like they had cancer, but PSYCH-K helped them prepare spiritually for themselves, for their peace, for the transition. So it doesn't always mean you're going to get healthy of everything. It's individualized for each person. So if it is for that, it's still a beautiful gift to have yourself be your spiritual healing and peace. Yeah. And then if people do still want to leave this planet and cancer just happens to be their gateway, it's important to honor that too. So we want to honor people. It's each of our life paths, for what we what we can do.
We have the free will for everything, and even choosing when to go, even though we don't know it. But
yeah,
I was sharing with somebody the one thing that I like about PSYCH-K is that it's so quick and easy to lower the stress in a person, because that's what we're doing. We're transforming a stressful situation to a peace, a perception of stress to peace. That process is so simple and so quick. And what we learn is that in order to keep our immune system elevated, we get rid of stress. So, how perfect. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's either fear or love, right? And even our cells, they can't do both at the same time. If it's going to be in fear, they're going to close off. And that's where disease begins to happen, because they end up, all the toxins stay in there, the oxygen isn't able to get in there, right? And we can get all kinds of disorder. So you're right, that gateway of shifting that fear or that retractive state into an expansive state of love and openness, I know it's a game changer.
Yeah. And
I love what I love too with PSYCH-K is just the relationship healing. To me, is one of the most magnificent. So I work a lot with that, with people, the relationship with themselves, feeling secure and whole and self-loving and forgiveness, and just so many abuses to finally receive the love that they are, and the worthiness and their direct connection with God, divinity, or the divine source, or whatever that means for somebody. But that's my biggest passion with PSYCH-K, is to really wake up, to recognize we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and to yes, obviously we want to live healthy and vibrant and full of life and co-create abundantly here. So what's the roadblocks? We all we agreed to have these limiting beliefs when we were born, because that's what society was about, scarcity and about a lot of fear in the 20th century. But we're in the Aquarian age now, so we are here to live mightily and beautiful and to transcend all that. So PSYCH-K is a very, very precious gift to help us do that in a very practical way, a very user-friendly way, and it's long-lasting.
Yeah. So would you like to share your next workshop coming up?
Oh, yay! Yes, we're going to go to Florida. Anyone that wants warmth and sun and gorgeousness, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, on Valentine's Day weekend. So February 12th to the 14th. Yeah, and thank you. You're going to be helping to organize it, sponsor it, and set your beautiful home. So it's that way we have it more private. We can have a lot more freedom there, with that, and enjoy it. So yes, actually, not this weekend, but next weekend, so in 2 weeks. And a lot of this is happening with PSYCH-K. When people hear about it, if they get that nudge within them that they need to go, come, because it's happening. We're ready. We're ready for the ones that say that they have the willingness and courage, and they say, yeah, you know what? I'm ready for a change. I've got to change. We've got to change things and help myself. And we welcome you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I always say life is happening and it's happening now. So what are we waiting for?
Exactly. And just find a way, open up the time. There's always a way to find the money. There's always a way. And that you matter. Your life does matter. And it can make all the difference in the world when you're ready to say yes to yourself. So we welcome all those who have the willingness and courage. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, and we'll see you in a week. Or yeah.
Yeah, week and a half. Yeah, yay! Sounds great.